All right, and we are live. What is going on, my specialist SPC here, and welcome back to another edition of Tier Ranking Tuesday. So, guys, I have, of course, done 50 characters in the Star Wars, and I have also done the 24 episodes of The Mandalorian. So, if you guys want to go check those out, this will be in a playlist, so please go and check those out. Those were a lot of fun, and I can't wait to do more of these tier rankings. So it's going to be a good time. So suppose let's just get right on into this. My computer's been acting up, so that was another reason I kind of wanted to get going on this beforehand. So guys, here are our tier ranks, our lightsaber duels we will be of course talking about here. So not all of them are lightsaber on lightsaber. It's there's a couple in here I see that are like lightsaber on like a melee weapon type. So just letting you guys know that, obviously, if you guys can't entirely see on the picture, because I know it's a little hard to tell. Second here. There we go. We got Backtrack Cinema, Mr. Jason. Luke versus Vader in Empire will always be my favorite. It's a damn good lightsaber duel. And we got Ledger Forever. We've got, hey man, hope you're doing well. Quick question. What's your favorite Fast and Furious film? I don't know. It's kind of a hard one. There's not really any good ones. I have a soft spot for 6. I'd probably say 6 is probably my favorite. But without further ado, let's get on into this tier ranking. Kicking things off with Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan on Mustafar in episode 3. And yes, I do consider that to be Darth Vader. If you guys haven't been around here, hi, my name is Austin. That's Darth Vader in episode 3. Might as well just get this one knocked out of the way. This is going up to amazing. This is my favorite lightsaber duel in all of Star Wars. Choreography is amazing. The setting is amazing. Everything between Obi-Wan and Anakin is amazing and heartbreaking. He tries to, come around to Anakin. Obviously, it doesn't work. Vader has taken over completely. So, I mean, this lightsaber duel has not been topped. I don't think it's ever going to be topped personally. So, Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader, episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. And now we go from an amazing lightsaber duel to this one. Reva versus Darth Vader from the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Yeah, this is going right into bad. Number 1, Vader completely owns Reva. I don't like Reva. She's one of my least favorite characters in Star Wars. She's one of my least favorite characters in the Kenobi show. And just in all honesty, you can't even really entirely call this a lightsaber duel. So that's all I really have to say about that one. Yeah, Reva versus Vader, just not good. Looks like now we've got Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader in the season finale of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I'm going to be totally honest in terms of emotion and everything like that. I have to put it up here in amazing as well. To me, this is the second best duel between these two, but this was the best part of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show was the duel between Obi-Wan and Vader. Of course, getting that emotional part where you actually see Anakin underneath the mask. Obi-Wan sits there and tries to apologize, and you just get that chilling What am I trying to say here? Line. There we go. Wow. Sorry, words are hard today. From Darth Vader to Obi-Wan saying, "You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did." And of course, my friend is truly dead. Goodbye, Darth. It was. To me, it's one of the best lightsaber duels. I thoroughly just love Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor, their chemistry together. Whether it is them as Obi-Wan and Anakin or them as Obi-Wan and Vader, regardless, anything between the two of them is just top tier Star Wars for me. And now we have the original lightsaber duel between Obi-Wan and Vader on the Death Star. And to me, this is just going to go into good. I'll be honest, if you would have probably asked me pre-Force Awakens, I probably would have put it in either okay or down in bad. But I'm going to put it in good. For the time, it was a good lightsaber duel. It's a lot more samurai style, samurai versus knight style. It's kind of how I look at it. The choreography between David Prowse and Sir Alec Guinness, was really well done. I think it's a good enough lightsaber duel. Obviously, though, you compare it to the things we saw in the prequels and even some duels you see now. I know a lot of people weren't big on the lightsaber duels in the sequel trilogy, but obviously we'll get my opinions on those when we get to them. But to me, it was just good. It was good enough for a first lightsaber duel in Star Wars. And up next, we've got Luke versus Darth Vader in Empire Strikes Back. This is another one that's going up in Amazing, and it's going to go right underneath Obi-Wan and Vader from Episode 3. For years, this was my favorite lightsaber duel. Still to this day, I love it. It's more fast-paced, like the prequels. But the thing that does... The thing that does make it really good as well is obviously Vader is toying with Luke the entire time just to see how he has come along in his training as a Jedi, loosely we will say. Of course, though, obviously the climax of this obviously is the iconic "No, I am your father" line. So that is a huge reason why this is up here. But to me, it's personally, for me, in terms of choreography, it's the best lightsaber duel of the original trilogy. And what I know a lot of people will say is the best duel of the original trilogy is Luke versus Vader on the Death Star. And no need to fear, you guys. This goes right up here as well into Amazing. This lightsaber duel probably means the most, probably out of any lightsaber duel in Star Wars. I mean, obviously, it's the duel where Luke does embrace the dark side a little bit, cuts off Vader's hand, of course, leads to him being shocked by the Emperor. And, of course, obviously, as well, we get the redemption of Darth Vader. I mean, it might honestly, like I just said, it's probably the most important lightsaber duel in this entire saga. But it is definitely a very, very well done duel. It's just I prefer the faster pace version and the longer version of their duel in Empire a little bit more. The Magistrate, Morgan Elsbeth versus Ahsoka Tano from Season 2 of The Mandalorian. I'll be honest, I'm going to put it in good. I would put it in great, but I wish it just kind of would have, been extended so far. But Morgan using that Beskar spear is awesome. I just find it still to this day a little more convenient that there's a Beskar spear there with her on the planet so that Mando can take it later and, of course, fight off against Moff Gideon. So, and to find out this is actually Bruce Lee's granddaughter was awesome to find out too. I do like it's basically a samurai standoff, kind of mirroring to the part also in the episode with Mando and Michael Bihn's character of Lang, having them have that like more traditional Western standoff. But I do think it's good enough. I just kind of wish we would have got a little bit more. I do think that the one we get in Ahsoka is definitely better, but obviously we will get there when we get there. Because up next, I just kind of brought it up here. We have got Mando versus Moff Gideon. This one I'm also going to put in good. I don't think it's anything bad. It's no offense to Giancarlo. I do think it's good enough for the show. Of course, obviously, with it being the finale of season 2 of The Mandalorian, but it's just also another thing too, I don't really like how Giancarlo actually handles and uses the Darksaber, really. And I think Mando does really good with the Beskar spear that he uses throughout the course of the fight. So to me, that's the better part, is watching Mando actually fight and defend instead of Moff Gideon actually fighting. We got a couple comments here. Terminator 2 or Revenge of the Sith? Revenge of the Sith. Not even a question to me. Sorry, not sorry. No arguments so far. Appreciate that. 3 favorite war films. Saving Private Ryan, Rogue One, and We Were Soldiers. Wait, the guy wearing Boba's armor is Michael Biehn? No, that's not Michael Biehn. Michael Biehn is in the Jedi episode. That's the, whatever you want to call him, the marshal or the right hand to Morgan Elsbeth. The guy in Boba's armor in that very first episode, that was Timothy Olyphant. Oh, man, why can't I see that one? Looks like Moff Gideon versus Bo-Katan from the recent season of The Mandalorian. I will say it was definitely better than the duel between him and Mando. But I will put it at the top of good. I think, obviously, in terms of using the Darksaber, Bo is obviously miles better using the Darksaber than Mando is. I mean, obviously, throughout the course of season 3, and of course, when we see him in the Book of Boba Fett, he still can't really use the Darksaber. That's always one thing that bothers me. He looks amazing with the Darksaber, but it's just the fact that he can't use it always really bothers me. So this one definitely is better. And of course, having Moff Gideon use some type of a different blade. I think it's the same type of blade that the Praetorian Guards used earlier on. For whatever reason, he does a lot better in this one than he did in Mando season 2 finale. All right, next up is the first duel in Ahsoka, and the episode 1. That, of course, is Sabine versus Shin. And I'll be honest, I didn't mind the duel. I don't think it's fantastic, so I'm just going to put this one in okay. I wasn't really the biggest fan overall of the gal who played Sabine. I just don't feel like she really captured how Sabine was in Rebels. But I do think that the lightsaber duel between her and Shin was actually pretty well done for the most part. It's just really, it's kind of a duel that didn't have any stakes, and it's also another duel where you see somebody get stabbed in the stomach and survive. I know there's constantly all the memes of Qui-Gon like looking on, like being like, "What the heck?" So it's just okay. Next up, we have Merrick versus Ahsoka in episode 2 in that Rebel base. I don't know exactly what you want to call it. I was sadly a strong hater of season 3. I didn't hate season 3. I definitely think it's the weakest. I still give it a 7 out of 10. I've said that numerous times. Still was a overall good season. It's just it went more in the direction of Book of Boba Fett and also trying to make up for Rangers of the New Republic. That was definitely did not help it. What's going on, Jason? I saw your comment earlier. I did share it. Luke and Vader. Good choice. Obviously, you see it's my second favorite lightsaber duel of all time. So, but anyway, Merrick versus Ahsoka. I'm gonna be honest. People might not like this decision, but it's just my opinion. I'm putting it in great. I like this lightsaber duel. It reminded me of the prequels. Seeing Ahsoka with her 2 white blades taking on Merrick and his double-bladed lightsaber, I thought it was just really good. Only thing that keeps it from amazing just by a hair, I wanted it to go on just a little bit longer. But watching Ahsoka fight him off and also fighting off all of the other 2 droid guards, whatever you want to call them. And I guess speaking of Ahsoka and Merrick, we've got their rematch on Peridia. No, this wasn't Peridia. This is the planet before they go to Peridia. Either way, I have to put it in good. And I really want you guys to just hear my thoughts as to why. Another good lightsaber duel. I will not lie to you, though. When Merrick got cut and it turned out he was just missed, I was so upset. Like, I wanted it to be like Sam Witwer, because of course everybody had their theories, maybe it's Maul reincarnated, maybe it's Galen Merrick, because they were talking about having Galen Merrick be an Inquisitor in Rebels, so. And I really didn't care who it was underneath. I was just curious as to who he was. It turned out more of a what was he, since, again, he was just green mist made by Morgan Elsbeth. That just upset me so much. But it would have been on par with their first duel they had in episode 2. So that's what's holding it back from going up to at least to great. We also have the rematch between Sabine and Shin. And I'm going to put it at the top of good. I do like it better than the rematch between Merrick and Ahsoka. Wow. It's definitely more in lines with the first fight between Ahsoka and Merrick. It's more fast-paced. You actually get to see Sabine use a lot more of her teachings, I guess we could say. But again, it's just another lightsaber duel. I wanted so much longer because it was just that much better. When do you start the Star Wars Watch Long series? I will keep you guys updated. I haven't had time to think about it. I've been trying to come up with a bunch of other videos right now. So I will keep you guys informed on that. Baylan Skoll versus Ahsoka. First of all, got to just throw this out there. Huge rest in peace to Ray Stevenson. He's been gone for almost a year here in a couple of months. which is so sad still because, man, I became so attached to Baylan Skull. He was my favorite character in the Ahsoka show. So I'm sad we're unfortunately not going to get any type of continuation unless they recast the character, maybe digitally put his face on somebody. I don't know. But this duel is going to go up to amazing. This was a phenomenal lightsaber duel, especially for something from television. Just prefer Obi-Wan versus Vader a little bit more just because of, the nostalgia of the two characters, because they are two of my favorite Star Wars characters of all time. But you have Baylan, who has more of a fighting style of a knight. As, of course, Ahsoka is much more the samurai, or Ronin as they're called. I do think that this is just up there with some of the best lightsaber action. Just the consequences of it, too, of them trying to stop the ship going to get I think it's charging, if I remember right, before they go off into light speed and head to Peridia to go and find Thrawn. But this was just a beautiful lightsaber duel. Sad to see, of course, obviously, again, I became so attached to Baylan Skull. So it just makes me sad we're not going to be able to see Ray Stevenson's version of the character anymore. And since episode 1 is so hated, if you can't get anyone for it, I could do it considering the nostalgia of the film is real. I don't hate episode 1. I really don't. I'll be honest, there's not a single Star Wars film I hate or despise. It is one of the weaker movies in the franchise, but I don't hate it. And it might just be because of nostalgia as well. I'm not sure. Ahsoka versus Anakin in the World Between Worlds. You're going to go to the top of great. And it's not even just the choreography, and it's not because of Hayden Christensen coming back to play Anakin. It's more of the importance of the lightsaber duel, of, her learning why she is there. And of course, Anakin, I'm here to continue your training. And of course, to really just find out, why she lost. But man, just them fighting in the World Between Worlds, with them going back and forth too, between having that shift. During her first flashback, when you see Anakin walking away and there's the explosion, and then you see the outline of Vader with the red lightsaber. Same thing too when she gets pushed out of the World Between Worlds, or out of that flashback sequence, and Anakin's walking out, and then it just transitions to Vader for a quick second. I loved it so much. But once again, it's just another lightsaber duel. I wish I would have gone on just a little bit longer, but it's still a great, great lightsaber duel. Sorry if you guys hear a bunch of noise in the background. I have my dog in here with me. Vader versus Ahsoka on the Siege of Mandalore. I'm just put this in good. It's going to go above the Bo-Katan Moff Gideon fight. Just didn't get enough of it. You just had a couple of quick swings with the lightsabers. Of course, you do get to see Anakin with the Sith red eyes, as well as, of course, him having the Vader blade as well. And we have the rematch between Baylan and Ahsoka. And this one is going to go in the top of good. Just another duel as well. You just don't get a whole lot of it, but this one just doesn't really have a whole lot of stakes, doesn't have a whole lot of meaning really behind it. I'm somebody, as you see with my top 5 up there, I'm somebody who loves, the emotion and the big meaning behind the lightsaber duels, so it just was one. It was just kind of okay. Where'd you go, Doc? Come here for a second. Everybody wants to see you. This is Finn. Let me get rid of this. He is a German Shepherd Newfoundland mix. Everybody just wanted to see you for a second. You can go away. He's just a little over a year old, if anybody's curious as well. He's like massive already for his size. So Kylo Ren versus Rey and Finn. This one's also going to go into good, but I am going to put it above Shin and Sabine's lightsaber duel. The duel between him and Finn, it's okay. It's not the greatest. If I could like split this up, I'd probably put the Finn duel here. But it's really when you get to the Rey part of the duel is when I really enjoy it a lot. Of course, you know, he thinks he's grabbing the saber, goes by him, Rey has it. And even just one of my like favorite shots in the whole film is when they are locked and the light of the lightsabers are going off their faces. But it's kind of, I don't know, their dueling is just a little bit too stiff for me. If they had maybe had at least more like the Balin and Ahsoka fight, I think it would be a lot better done. Kylo Ren versus Luke Skywalker from The Last Jedi. I know it's technically not even really a lightsaber duel, but I will be honest, it's just going to go at the top of okay, just because you get to see how powerful Luke is in this film. Seeing him being able to force project all the way from Octo all the way to Crate, way across the galaxy. That whole sequence is just good, and just seeing him, do the mind games with Kylo, I think is really good. It's just, again, it's not even really a lightsaber duel, so unfortunately, I can't give it any more credit than that. Where'd it go? Jason, I love the emotion of the fight. I'm assuming you must be talking about the. Oh, yep, here it is. The snow in the dark woods creates a lot of atmosphere. Yes. It's not quite the best duel of the sequels, even though I know there's not really a whole lot of duels in the sequels, but I like it. It's good enough. They look like they're swinging at bats in that scene. Yeah, I suppose. Looks like we're at the next two duels of Kylo and Rey. So we have their battle on both Kijimi and on Kylo's Star Destroyer. And I'll be honest, I'm going to put it in good, but I'm going to put it under the Merrick and Ahsoka fight. Right there. Let's do that. There we go. Because the thing I like the most about this duel is how they go back and forth, how in one sequence they're actually inside the Star Destroyer, since of course they had that forced connection with one another, which is still one of my favorite things from the sequels. I still will never hide my love for the sequels. I do love them very much. And then, of course, like one of them walks around, and then they're on Kijimi, and then they're kind of going back and forth, dueling each other. It was a great sequence. It's one of my favorite sequences in The Rise of Skywalker. And, of course, we got their duel on the remains of the Death Star. And I'll be honest, I'm going to put this at the top of good. To me, it's in some ways, just some ways. So I don't think I'm entirely comparing it to it. But it's almost a mirror of the Obi-Wan and Darth Vader fight on Mustafar. Except this time it's in waves, so it's on the water. And I do think that their choreography on there is great. But it ultimately leads, of course, to Kylo getting stabbed. And, of course, Leia unfortunately perishing as well, and Rey force healing him. To me, I think it would have been a little bit more impactful if Rey would have been the one to actually get injured, get stabbed, and maybe Kylo just like left her for dead, kind of a thing. I don't know. Eventually, I'd like to find a way to do like how I would have wrote the sequels to make it more of a consistent story, but that's just another day, another video. What's your least favorite MCU film? It's a tie between the first and second Thor movie. I really don't like either of those. I probably lean more towards the second one just because the villain is forgettable and there's just really nothing memorable about it except Loki dying. Kylo Ren, or I guess Ben Solo in this instance, versus the Knights of Ren. This one is going to go into okay. And it's only because, man, the Knights of Ren were so wasted in the sequels. They built them up in the Force Awakens to being this just big menacing presence that Kylo was going to go up against. It's cool to see Kylo, Ben, I guess at this point. It's cool to see Ben actually, when they continue their little thing with the Force and Rey gives him the Skywalker saber, he gives that little Han Solo shrug. And you get little small elements of like an Anakin in him. So, and I think his choreography is good. It's just, man, they built up the Knights of Ren to be these like epic villains in this new version of Star Wars, and they literally did nothing with them except make them cannon fodder for Ben. Jason, what did you think of the Alien Romulus teaser? Man. Looks like classic Alien. Looks miles better than Alien Covenant, in my personal opinion. Obviously, you know how I feel about Alien Covenant, and especially Alien Resurrection. To me, it's definitely going to be on par with the first film in terms of horror. Obviously, we will see, of course, how they execute it. But it's Fede Alvarez. I've liked at least 2 films of him I've seen. Love Don't Breathe. That one's so good. And the same thing, too, with Evil Dead 2013. Oh, man. If it's anything like those, it's going to be a fantastic film. I'm excited for it. Yeah. Yeah, it's I think it's my like third, well, I should say it's like my second most anticipated film for the rest of the year now, since I got to see Dune Part 2. But right now it's Deadpool and Wolverine, and then after that is Alien Romulus. I don't know why. I have a hunch this is going to probably be better than Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, but you never know. I won't know till I go see it, but that's kind of where I am right now with it. I think it's going to be pretty high on my Alien list just from seeing the trailer. Oh, the duel of the fates between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan against Darth Maul. And this has to go up to amazing. And it's going to go just barely above the Balin versus Ahsoka fight, just in terms of nostalgia for me. And also the meaning of the duel of the fates, to find out who is going to... It's the fate of Anakin Skywalker. So, I don't know. That's just... The choreography with Darth Maul and Obi-Wan later on in the fight is some of my favorite action sequences in Star Wars. Of course, the tragic death of Qui-Gon Jinn. There's just so many elements about this lightsaber duel. I don't quite know how to talk about it all, but it is easily one of the best, easily the best parts of The Phantom Menace as well. It looks like Anakin versus Count Dooku. This one is just going to go into okay. And it's going to go above the Sabine and Shin first fight. I remember seeing the trailer, and I remember seeing Anakin with both of the lightsabers attacking Count Dooku. Remember getting so excited for that. It's just, for me, the lightsaber duel doesn't do anything. It's just they're trying to stop Count Dooku from escaping, is all it is. Of course, though, it's when we get to see Anakin lose his hand. Of course, we get the mechanical hand, the prelude to him turning into Darth Vader. So that's just me. Count Dooku versus Yoda. If any of you guys know me, Yoda is not only just my favorite Star Wars character, but he's just my favorite character in general in all movies. So it pains me to have to do this to Yoda. But I'm just not a fan of the lightsaber duels with Yoda, man. I understand, of course, he's small. He has to jump around. I totally get and understand that, but I don't like Yoda's lightsaber duels. I like them in Clone Wars. It looks a little more natural in Clone Wars, of course, because it's probably an animated cartoon, obviously, but I just think it is just not fantastic. Of course, as a kid, I loved it. As an older adult, just not a fan. Obi-Wan and Anakin versus Count Dooku in Revenge of the Sith. This one I'm going to put above Ahsoka and Anakin in the World Between Worlds in the Siege of Mandalore arc, and underneath the duel between Kylo and Rey on Kashyyyk. It's definitely better than the first lightsaber duel. It's got more going for it. You get to see Obi-Wan get hurt and injured again. But it has more of the meaning of when Anakin actually takes the hands of Dooku, and you get the infamous do it scene from the Emperor, of course, at that time being Palpatine. And just having the look of Dooku looking over, being like, are you serious? What? To me, like I said, choreography-wise and meaning-wise, it is better than the first duel. Obi-Wan versus General Grievous on Utapau. I'm sorry, but this goes into bad. I was looking forward to watching this, especially after seeing how Grievous was in the micro series. Like, I was so anticipated to see Grievous. And in both Clone Wars, the 2008 version, as well as, of course, Revenge of the Sith, he's just a coward. He just runs all the time. I don't like that. And they only really duel for literally maybe a minute. You get the infamous pose, you get the hello there, General Kenobi meme that we've seen everywhere, all over. But other than that, it's nothing great happens in it. Finn versus TR-8R. I'm going to put this in okay. Not at the top of okay. I'm going to put it... Hey, you know what? I'd put it right below the Kylo Luke, whatever you want to call it, the mind game duel, I guess we'll call it. I don't mind seeing, I don't mind seeing Finn use the lightsaber. It's the first time he uses it, so he's not really entirely familiar with it. I do think the sequence is pretty good for the most part, but it ends very quickly. He gets beat way too easily And of course, Han saves him with the bowcaster. So, yeah, that's all I got for that one. Qui-Gon versus Darth Maul on Tatooine. This one's going to go at the top of okay. Yeah, again, this is just another one, too, where, doesn't really have a whole lot of meaning behind it. You just see maybe Maul's trying to capture Anakin. That's about as far as we get in it. The action is, again, it's okay, but it's just a really, quick, maybe 30-second duel, if that. Again, my problem with a lot of these. I just wish they were longer. Ahsoka versus Morgan Elsbeth. The rematch, I guess we'll just call it. I'll be honest, I'm going to put this at great, and I'm going to put it right underneath her duel against Anakin in the World Between Worlds. This is definitely miles better than the original. You have Elsbeth with the, I don't know really what you want to call it, the Dathomirian sword. So you get to see that. You also get to see her, fully become a Night Sister. And like I said, the choreography in this is just miles better. It's like two female samurais going at it. Definitely really like that. The only thing that keeps it from being above the Anakin versus Ahsoka fight, not only do I wish it was just a little longer, I just don't like how she's killed off. Just a couple of quick slashes to the midsection. I didn't really like that all that much, but definitely a better match than it was in The Mandalorian Season 2. All right, guys, we are down to the last two. We have Kylo Ren and Rey versus the Praetorian Guards. And I know people have their problems with it. I really enjoy it. So it is going to go right below the Ahsoka Morgan Elsbeth match. People have pointed out, of course, how the Praetorian Guards all just kind of, stand still and wait for their time to go in. But if you look past that, it's just some of the best lightsaber action you get in the new trilogy of films. If I had to go actual favorite lightsaber duel, like lightsaber on lightsaber from the sequels, it is going to go to Rey versus Kylo on the Death Star. But this is easily the best sequence featuring lightsabers in the sequel trilogy, with Rey and Kylo working together, taking on the Praetorian Guards. It was an amazing sequence. Every time I watch it, I get excited. Even though it is definitely longer than a lot of these duels that you see on this list, it's more just I wish it had a more emotional meaning behind it, is really what holds it back from being up and amazing. And finally, we have Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader in episode 3 of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. This might be a hot take because I know it's not the greatest, but I'm going to put it in good, and I'm going to put it above the Ahsoka-Anakin duel. When we see the way that Vader is, I'm still going to say it if you guys weren't here before, Hayden Christensen is the best on-screen Darth Vader, in my personal opinion. In this, he reminds me so much of, he reminds me so much of, a Michael Myers, the way he, walks around and stalks Obi-Wan throughout the course of their duel. I just think it's intimidating when he breaks that barrel and drags Obi-Wan through the flames. It's crazy. It's intense. It's a great sequence. Just what they do with Vader in the Kenobi show, even I'll be honest, whatever they do, what Disney has done with Vader so far is amazing. I absolutely love Vader in this new Disney Star Wars. That's really all I could say with it. I mean, it's kind of like this duel down here. It's not really even a lightsaber duel. Their sabers clash a couple of times, but it's just more of Vader stalking Obi-Wan. And again, it just reminds me of Michael Myers, who of course is probably my second favorite movie character of all time. So, but yeah, guys, this is my official ranking of all the live action lightsaber duels in Star Wars. Obviously, of course, let me know down below in the comment section if you guys agree with my list. If you don't, please let me know why. Also, if you guys want to make your own video and tag me in it, I will definitely come and watch it. I'd love to see your guys' thoughts on these lightsaber duels and where you would put them. But guys, that's pretty much all I got here for this. So I guess with that being said, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next one.